Picking a career isn't easy, so today I'm going to share with you why I decided to become a dietitian. So I recently got a comment on one of my other videos asking if I could talk a little bit about why I decided to become a dietitian. And I thought this would be a good topic to discuss because if you're thinking about becoming a dietitian, this can give you some info as far as how I made my decision and why I thought it was the right thing for me. But also if you've just been around on my channel for a while, maybe you're interested in learning some more little tidbits about my life and how I kind of got to this place and why I decided to go on this path. And if you are new here and you're looking for more info about becoming a dietitian, I have two other videos that might be helpful for you. In one, I talk about the actual process of how you become a dietitian. I kind of lay it all out for you. And then I also have another video where I talk about picking the right dietetics program for you. So now you know you want to be a dietitian, but how do you pick the right college and some different things to think about. So if you're interested in that stuff, make sure you check out those videos too. And while you're at it, if you are interested in becoming a dietitian, then you'll probably really like this channel because I talk all about healthy eating and healthy lifestyle stuff. So if you're into that sort of thing, then make sure you subscribe. So to understand how I got here, we got to go back to the beginning a little bit. So from a very young age, I was interested in being healthy and in the health profession. When I was little, one of the first jobs I remember like thinking about like, oh, that's what I want to be when I grow up, was a pediatrician because I thought it would be so cool to be able to help little kids to be healthy. And I was also a kid who had a strong appreciation for vegetables, not to say that I liked every food or didn't have any dislikes at all, but I was definitely a kid who loved a good vegetable tray. That's still kind of who I am now actually. If you went to any party and there was a vegetable tray, that is where you would find me. And my mom says that other parents would ask her like, how do you get her to do that? She's like, I don't know, she just does it. And I think that's part to her parenting and the way she raised me, but it's also just part of who I am. I love vegetables and I can't help it. So you might think that that's a pretty easy connection to make and that the story would end there. Interested in health, loves healthy food, boom, dietitian. But that's not exactly how it worked out. I actually struggled a lot with the idea growing up of what I was actually going to do for a job. It was something I thought about a lot, especially at the end of high school, because you're getting to that time where you're starting to look at colleges and trying to figure out where you might want to go, where you want to apply, and part of finding a good college is finding one that has a program for the career that you're interested in. For a while I thought that maybe I would be a math major because I loved math. It was something that came really easy to me. I enjoyed it, and so I thought, okay, that's a good option. And I thought that I might go the teaching route because I really felt like I enjoyed teaching and also that I had a skill for it. I mean, something that I remember a lot being in class in high school was helping other students, you know, explaining things to them and being able to explain it to them in a different way than the teacher did so that they could understand it. But as I started to look into the teaching thing a little bit more, I started to feel like maybe that's not the right path for me. I don't know that I would really enjoy that as far as being in a school setting like K through 12 type situation. Some other things I thought about were being a doctor. That was something all the way growing up that I, you know, kind of going to the pediatrician thing, that somehow I would be in the medical field. But I also had the feeling that I didn't know that I really wanted to go through med school and do all of that. I didn't know if that was the right fit for me. One time I thought about doing autopsies because I love kind of the blood and guts stuff and like those kinds of videos you can watch where they're like doing surgeries and stuff like that. And I thought doing autopsies could be cool because you get to do that, but the person's already dead, so you don't have to worry about like seriously harming anyone. Maybe that's a little morbid, but that was my train of thought. So I'm kind of going through all these ideas, but nothing really felt like the right thing for me. Something else to know is that during this time, my interest in health kind of veered off into the weight loss category. And I've talked about in other videos, but I did struggle with some body image stuff during this time, disordered eating patterns, things like that. And I was starting to become just really focused on weight. And that was kind of what health was for me. A lot of it was about weight loss. And in addition to looking at the world through this whole weight loss lens, my other interest in health and nutrition was really what I like to call magazine cover nutrition. It's like the eat this berry that has this obscure antioxidant and it can prevent cancer, or if you eat tomato paste, which is high in lycopene, that can help prevent cancer, or if you eat yada yada, it helps prevent cancer. A lot of that stuff is related to cancer, it turns out. And that's the kind of stuff, it's kind of like nutritionism is what a lot of people call it, like breaking foods down down into like very specific nutrients or calories, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, that sort of thing, rather than looking at the food as a whole. So at this point, I'm in my senior year of high school and I'm really starting to feel the pressure of you gotta figure out some idea what you want to do so that you can pick a college and figure out where you're gonna apply and where you're gonna go. And my mom was watching TV one day and they were talking about some health thing, and this person came out and they were talking about all these things, and it said under their name, Registered Dietitian. And my mom was like, hey, you like food, you like health, maybe you could do that. And up until this point, I didn't really know anything about dietitians. I didn't even really know that that was a job or a thing you could do, but it definitely seemed like something that could fit for me, so I looked more into it. Now at this point, the whole dietitian thing was still just an idea. It was something that I thought I could do, but I wasn't 100% sure about it. I still had the math teacher thing kind of lingering in my head, even though that was starting to fade a little bit, but I just didn't have any certainty with what I wanted to do. So me and my mom were looking at schools and we thought, you know what, if we could find a school that had a teaching program and a dietetics program, that would be perfect, because then if I went into one and I didn't like it, it would be really easy to switch to the other and I wouldn't have to worry about transferring and getting resettled in a whole different place. And as it turns out, JMU, where I ended up going, has a great teaching program and a great dietetics program, so it really seemed like the perfect place for me to be. Plus, as a little extra bonus, my then boyfriend, now husband, was already going there. Side note, I think there were people who definitely thought I was going to JMU primarily because my boyfriend went there, but that wasn't the case at all. It just happened to work out that way. So once I got to JMU, I was pretty sure that dietetics was what I wanted to do. I mean, it was becoming clearer and clearer that that was going to be the path for me, but especially once I started to get into my classes and look at all the classes I was going to be taking while I was there, everything kind of clicked and I realized, like, I love this stuff. And looking back now, it's crazy to me that it wasn't more obvious because it just seems like such a perfect fit, but that's kind of what it took for me to get there and figure out that that was actually what I wanted to do. But that's not the end of the story, because my motivations for becoming a dietitian when I went in and my reasons for becoming a dietitian when I finally graduated were a little bit different. Going in, I was definitely still focused on this whole weight thing and also the nutritionism, the magazine cover nutrition type stuff that I was talking about earlier. But as I started going through my classes and learning more, as well as learning stuff outside of class, that's when my eyes were really open to the fact that yes, we do know things about these different nutrients and the roles that they play in our bodies, but that's not really what it's about. It's not about one specific food or one nutrient or how many calories that something has. It's about that food as a whole. And that's when I really started looking at, okay, just because this cereal has 110 calories and 3/4 of a cup doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good option. What actually is in here? What is this doing for my body? And as I started looking into that stuff, I started changing what I was eating and moving more towards the whole foods approach that I promote now, of really eating whole real foods that are gonna be there to support our bodies because they naturally have the things that our bodies need. So it kind of took my interest in nutrition from being something very complicated as far as breaking foods down into all their different parts to something much more simple, which is just eat a variety of whole real foods that are going to give you a bunch of different nutrients, a bunch of different flavors, a bunch of different things that your body needs, and it's probably going to work out. Now, obviously, as I went through school, we definitely learned about specific things that you should do for different medical conditions and things like that, so it's not like that totally flew out the window, but it definitely took my view of food and made it a lot less disordered, because let's be honest, that's what that was, and it really opened me up to all of the different stuff I talk about now. I started volunteering at the farmers market and going on tours at different farms in the area, and I became involved in my dietetics association, and that gave me an opportunity to talk to other students about these things too and kind of do these things outside of school together. And that's how I got interested in the food quality stuff and the sourcing of our food and how animals are raised and overall how our farms fit into our society and all of these different things, body positivity, body image, all the stuff that I talk about on my channel. Really, that happened while I was at college. And I would say overall, when I was going into school, what I was learning was primarily focused on me. It was my interest in this stuff and my just craving for this knowledge and information. I mean, I definitely had the idea in my head that there are problems in our society as far as health and wellness and food, and that if I become a dietitian, I could help with that, but I still didn't really understand what that meant or how I would do that, so it was more about me just getting that information. But once I got to the end, it really helped me realize realized that the way I thought about food before I went into school was how most people around me thought about food. But as I went through school, I realized how all of those ways of thinking, they are disordered in a lot of ways. A lot of misconceptions are out there, and overall there's just a lot of stuff that is wrong that we believe about food and health and wellness and our bodies. And so when I came out of school, I really realized that I want to be a dietitian because I want to be able to help other people. I want to be able to spread this information so that people can learn about these things that I learned about and help them to break through all the things that they've learned through life, just through common misconceptions and things that our society tells us that just aren't true, and help them be able to see that it can be so much simpler when it comes to food. It doesn't have to be complicated. You know, all the stuff I talk about on here, that's really what I realized I wanted to do, was to be able to help people learn these things that I learned so they could apply it to their life and not just be healthy to be healthy, but be healthy so they could go out, do the things they want to do, and have freedom from diets and diet mentality and all these other things that we learn growing up. And I have to say, it's pretty cool to be here now and actually doing those things. You know, I'm able to do those things through these videos, answering your questions, giving you tips and tricks, sharing healthy recipes. I'm also able to do that with my one-on-one clients too, because I can guide them through the process, help them, you know, zero in on their very specific concerns and be there to support them and help them make healthy changes that last. So that's the story of why I decided to become a dietitian, and also how my reasons for becoming a dietitian at the beginning weren't exactly my reasons for wanting to be a dietitian at the end. So I hope that you found this interesting or helpful or anything like that. I hope you liked the video, and if you have any more questions about this or any comments that you'd like to share in the comments below, definitely do that. And if you are new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and healthy recipes, make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you're loving the free info here but you're finding that you need something more personalized, don't forget that I do offer one-on-one nutrition counseling and coaching. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and we can get that set up for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.